Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a very special video today. I know it's been a while since I've posted on the channel here, but very excited about the new Model Y coming out. And I know many of you have been waiting to find out what I was going to do, what our family was going to do for the new electric car we were going to get. As most of you know, my family was at a transitional period where we had my Model S that I did a lot of the videos on the channel with, and that was just an amazing car. Love that car. And my wife has been driving an older Model X, and we've been trying to figure out what to do. You can see here I got my good buddy Sky on the call here, so I'm going to have him chime in. It's going to be a little bit of a different video, but one of the great things we're going to do for all of you today in the channel is we're going to go through the configurator, and I'm going to take you through exactly what made this decision for us and how we made this decision.
Okay.
Now I know a lot of us are in all different positions in this world financially. All of us have, some of us have kids, some of us don't have kids, some of us have pets, some of us don't have pets, some of us need a trailer hitch, some of us don't need a trailer hitch. So we all have different things going on in our lives, and finding the right car and making those decisions can sometimes be extremely daunting. And for example, my good buddy Sky here, he has a Model 3 and loves his Model 3 and had just gotten it. How many months ago did you get that? About a year?
I've had it almost a year now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought a used 2022 Model 3 long range in the red, nice red color, kind of like what you see on the screen here for the Model Y. And it's just a sweet little car. I've been loving
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So now Sky hasn't done as many road trips as we want him to do, but he's going to start doing some more road trips in his Tesla as well. But he definitely knows the car, knows how it drives, and really enjoys the car and likes Tesla's electric cars. Him and I also talk a lot about a lot of the other electric cars out there, like Ford, Rivian, all the other great brands, some of the Kia brands, some of the China brands that you can't, buy in the US yet, but we're always talking about them and what makes one better than the other. So this is going to be a fun, exciting video, but I think it's also going to be educational, and it will be a little bit easier to understand how you might make a decision and choose this. Since we're going to be going a little bit through the configurator, you're also going to see the different price options. Right now the Model Y is being charged at a much higher price than the older Model Y, which you can still buy. So those are discounted right now. So if most of your decision is 100% financial, I got to tell you the older Model Y is the best option there because they're
Yeah,
trying to get
can't
rid
go
of them.
wrong.
Yeah, they're just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah,
The other big
yeah.
question that's on everyone's mind when it comes to electric cars in the United States today is the tax incentive. I know there's a lot of rumors out there with Donald Trump just being voted into office this week and starting to sign a lot of executive orders. And many of those executive orders are rumored to get rid of what he calls the electric mandate. That's not a real thing. Basically, just so everyone knows what the electric mandate is that Donald Trump refers to it as is a way of forcing us all into electric cars. It could be maybe said that way, I guess, but the reality is that the U.S. has said prior to Donald Trump that that I think 100% or 50% of all cars need to be electric by the year 2035. So 10 years from now. And basically, it's forcing all of the car manufacturers that build ICE cars, internal combustion engine cars, that they have to move down on the emissions and increase electric. So smaller engines, less pollution, while they increase more models in the electric field. And so this is what they're calling the mandate, even though it's not really a mandate. And that's how we slowly convert people over to electric cars. Now, all those rumors that are coming out, he has not removed the tax incentives yet. The current tax incentives are $7,500 off any car that's mostly produced and the battery is produced in the United States. You can get $7,500 off. And then I think the used tax credit is like $4,200. Do you know, Sky?
Yeah, so when I bought mine, I got 4,000 off,
Okay.
and it was basically for any used electric car under 25 grand, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's a really nice incentive if you're buying a used one as well, right? So let's go through this. It's pretty exciting. Again, the Model Y, but we're going to get into the new Model Y here. It's just gorgeous. You can see just the styling alone. They've really taken some styling cues from the Cybertruck with the light bar here in the very front. This light bar is a daytime running light bar. And then the rear light bar is also super awesome. Down here is actually where the more of the headlights are, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And there's
It's like how they did the Cybertruck. They have the Cybertruck has that light bar up top, and then the headlights are actually down lower, even though
yeah,
you'd think they were up top with that one. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, I like the styling. What's kind of funny about it is I don't really love the Cybertruck styling. I When it first came out, it was such a whoa, and then I started to like it, but then I started not liking it. And today I would say I don't really like the look of the Cybertruck, but I really like this look on the Model Y. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so a couple things on the styling on the Model Y. I think it's a great improvement. It's very sleek. Definitely an evolution. Everything between like the A and the C pillar is, I think, pretty much the same body panels, but they did a really nice job making the front and rear very sleek. And the other thing I like is that the Model 3 and the Model Y don't look so similar anymore.
Right.
That was something with, you had for the untrained eye, you couldn't tell the difference before. People like nerds like me, I'd say, oh yeah, that's a Model Y because it's taller or whatever. But now you're really going to be able to easily tell the difference between the two, which I think is important, but they still have a family resemblance.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's kind of cool just at first glance. But okay, let's go ahead and click on the learn more here and dive into this a little bit. This is the new what they call Quicksilver color, which they actually introduced on the older Model Y, but only I think they had a run of it like for 9 months or something. But I
Yeah,
think
not too long.
not too long at all. Yeah. So now the one thing to point out though is so one, deliveries will begin in March, so pretty quick here. And
Mhm.
two, this is what they call the launch series. So the launch series, just so everyone knows, it is the long-ranged all-wheel drive version of the Model Y. So it's not the performance, and it's not just the rear-wheel drive, which would be your cheapest option, and then the performance would be the higher paid option that has more performance elements. The long range version has a lot of perks because it is what they call the launch series. So we're going to go through what's included in the launch series. There's a couple things that you won't be able to get on anything else, and then a couple things that you can option in. But overall, the launch series is usually a limited produced version, and it's fully loaded with everything. So we're going to take a look. One of the things
Cool.
it comes with is full self-driving, which is about a $8,000 option if you were to buy it into your car. Or, of course, you have the option of paying it monthly at $100 a month right now, which is probably what I would do if I were waiting. I would do it monthly because to recruit the 8 grand a month, you've got to own that car for a good 7 years to recoup it.
Yeah, 80 months, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. The other interesting thing is the range. So this is not quite what the Model S was. I had the Model S long ranged version that I had in many of my videos. That would go with the performance rims and tires. It would go about 360 miles. With the more efficient wheels and tires, it would go actually to 402. This car with the more efficient wheels and tires is going to go 320 miles, which is good. I actually think that the just owning an old Model X and then the new Model S that would go really far, I actually think this range is almost about perfect. I never really needed the super high end, but I will tell you with my old Model X that we still have now, we're going to be trading in, that thing will only go about 210 miles now because it's 9 years old. And that's not enough. Really, it really isn't enough. So this is a pretty good range, I think.
Yep. Yep.
So more.
Yeah, no, that's good for the size car. It is. That's a good range and still competitive in the market for the most part for a vehicle like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a little higher than competitive. I think a lot of the other guys or most majority of them are tapping out at like two something, 250 to 280, and
Hmm.
and then they probably have bigger batteries because they don't have as efficient technology, things like that.
Yeah.
But
Yep. Hovering around. Yeah. Some are hovering around 300, but really, if they go over 300, it's not 320. It's
yeah,
30 something
yeah,
normally. So
right,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So and if you are getting much higher than this, like if you get a fully loaded Rivian that goes more in this, or a Lucid is another good example, you're spending about 100 grand, anywhere between 80 and
Yeah.
100 grand for that price range. Where this car is going to be significantly less than that. So
Yeah.
you can get a lot more miles for less price and be more efficient with how you burn those miles, which is really good. So I like the styling a
Cool.
lot. I think the rear is really cool. Um, we'll look at a couple more shots of this, but they completely redesigned the entire rear and the front, just like you were saying, Sky. And then they moved
Yeah.
back to the silver rims from the black rims, which a lot of car manufacturers have done that because, you know, black rims were super in style for a long time. Now I think the pendulum has shifted and now silver rims are kind of exciting, but they do have the more efficient or economy rims are black, and then they offer the higher performance rims like these are silver. So
Hmm.
it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had that style for a while actually. That's what my 20 well, it's a little bit different. They've evolved it, but my the ones that came on my 2022 Model 3 very similar to this, and mine had a bunch of curb rash, so I had them powder coated
Yeah,
black. So, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so really, really sleek looking car. And by the way, just for the audience here, this car is not going to be my car I'm driving. It's going to be my wife's car that she's driving and the family car when we're doing road trips. It's going to be the idea. So I'll be showcasing this car quite a bit in my videos. But it is going to be my wife's daily car. And she's in the habit of driving it around all over. And most people on the channel know I live in Pleasanton, California. So she literally drives around it all day with a lot of kid activities, school drops, activities after school, and things like that. And then we do road trips, and everyone knows we do a good amount of, I don't know, six kind of road trips a year where we're going up and down through Oregon, through California, Lake Tahoe, or we go down to San Diego, and I'm probably going to come visit you, Sky, in Utah. So we do a lot of road trips on the car and have really done a lot of supercharging, as many know on the channel. I've posted that. So this light
Cool.
bar, by the way, I don't know if you've looked into this too much, but it's kind of interesting. The light shoot is actually it's concaved and it shoots down and then reflects out.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
really wild.
That's
I'll show
cool.
you guys a couple clips of this, but it's really interesting. Here's the interior of the car, and you can see there's the light beam that is prevalent in the new Model 3. So they kind of carried
Mhm.
that over. They got a rear screen, and then they have a screen on the main area that's slightly bigger in the main driver's area. But it very much looks like the new Model 3. Um, One thing that I believe is a pretty significant new feature that I'm looking forward to a lot is the powered rear seats. And let me explain why. So, the powered rear seats are motorized both ways. So, what I mean by that is in our Model X, again, 9 years old, we have button in the back. So, you open up the trunk of the car, you're in the back of the car, and there's a button to put the seats down. So, they kind of fold down. Okay. But then, if you need to put them back up, you got to walk around to the side door, open up those gullwing doors or whatever they're called, lift the seat back up, lock it in place, then go around the backside of the car and do whatever you're going to do, right? This car, there is no third row yet. There is rumor Tesla will announce a third row later on this year, but they don't have the third row yet. We don't need the third row anymore. But now they're motorized up. So you can hit a button and there's a motor that will lift the seat back up into the upright position. To us, that's actually a great feature. I think it will be for many other people as well. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, one other big change in the interior too is, most people are used to turn signals and headlights on stocks. On the new Model 3 and the new Model Y, you now have buttons on the steering wheel. And, I was kind of skeptical about it when my sister just bought a Model 3, the new Model 3, and I was skeptical about it, but it actually works out pretty good. I'm a little bit still not totally sure about shifting on the screen versus on a stock, but that's something you totally get used to. And I do like the turn signals on the steering wheel though versus up and down on the stock.
So one thing that's interesting about that, I'm glad you brought that up, Sky, is this. Rumor is there is one stock on this car.
Oh, I'm not seeing it in the video here.
I know. They showed it in
Okay.
some of the videos that were released in China that because they released this car in China last week. And so they think they kept the turn signal stock on this car. And but everything else, like in my Model S, I had the button. I got really used to the button turn signal on the steering wheel. But the rumor is they put the stock back in here. It is definitely in the China market. So we'll see if it's in the US. Looks like you're researching it right now, but let me know.
I am, yeah. So it says that a quick Google search says it does have a turn signal stock, whereas the Model 3 does not. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so they brought that back in. So now turn signals are stock. I don't mind that. I also like the round steering wheel. I don't want the airplane one anymore. I liked that at first in the Model S. I'll be honest with you. I did. I liked it. But I really like the round steering wheel better. And then they did get rid of the right stock, which is putting in forward or reverse. And that is on the screen. But I'll tell you, that was on the screen in my Model S also. And I got very used to that really quickly. So that did not become an issue for me at all.
Yeah, and it also has it's probably like your Model S. It has those kind of modes where it automatically knows what gear you should be going into anyway, which the ones like my Model 3 with the stock don't have that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are a couple of the highlights there. There's a few more highlights. There's as you approach, here's the power seats. You can kind of see here. But as you approach the car, the rear tailgate can open up, things like that. There is, by the way, there is no way on the frunk. There is a way to lift it, but there's not a way to power it down. So you still have to manually, on the front hood, you have to still bring it down manually. On the rear hood, it can go up and down with the button. So that's something to kind of point out there on some of that functionality. The other key thing I learned, I watched a few YouTube analysts last night on the car as well, is that overall, like the glass on the car is more sound insulated. They put a lot more insulation across the car, so it's a much quieter car. They completely redesigned the suspension. some people that have had the older Model Y complained about the suspension being a little rough, but they completely
Yep.
redesigned that to be much more luxurious and everything. So,
Yeah, they did that same stuff on the Model 3, and I did notice definitely the cabin's a lot quieter when you drive it on the new Model 3 versus my 2022. So yeah, they did a nice job on that, and I think it'll help make it an even nicer highway cruiser. You know.
yeah, yeah. This is just their tech that we're already used to because they update, the older cars. So you might have gone this, but now they have weather integrated into the maps. They've done so much to advance their map technology, which is awesome. Just really, really cool things. They also have detours and estimates. The other thing they have now that they've just added is, and I'll do videos on all this kind of stuff, but they added in if you want to arrive with a certain amount of battery at your destination and you've got multiple stops on your road trip journey, you can program it so that it will have you stop at the right points so you can arrive with 60% battery at your final destination, which is a nice feature. Rivian's had that before Tesla, and Tesla just added that kind of stuff in, which is really nice. So,
Finally.
yeah.
Yep.
There's
Games.
a screen in the back of the car. Honestly, we had this screen in my Model S, and just to be honest with everyone, we didn't use it hardly at all. The kids didn't use it. If the kids are on a screen, they're on their iPhones in the back seat. They're not going to lean over and look down. It's actually hard to look down at a screen like that for a long time when you're watching a movie or something. So it's good for quick YouTube lookups and things like that. It's just not quite as conducive as people might think that is a big value. Younger kids, it could be. Like if I had 5 or 6 year olds, but my kids now are 16 and 14. So it's, and even them a couple years ago when I got my Model S, so 3 years ago, they would have been, I guess, 13 and 11. They're still a little too old for that. So,
Yeah.
um,
Usual media player stuff. Yep.
yeah, more media player stuff. Obviously,
Dog mode.
dog mode's a big thing for us. So, as many of you know that'll watch my channel, we got a golden doodle about 2 years ago, and we use this all the time. In fact, there's two things that really puts us at rest is having this and then having a camera inside the cabin of the car that you can see on your mobile app to just make sure the dog's okay. And you can see the entire cabin. So I'll tell you, we use this a lot on road trips, and because we take our dog on the road trips too a lot of times. And then the other thing we do quite a bit as a family is we'll drive down to downtown Pleasanton, which is 15 minutes from my house, and we'll walk around and do some shopping and enjoy family time, especially in the summers where the weather's amazing. And then we'll plop the dog in the car, put it in dog mode, and then we'll go have dinner at a restaurant, go into the restaurant, have a nice dinner, come back out 90 minutes later, dog's happy, and we can check on them with the camera. That's a very popular thing for us. A feature set that is unique to Tesla. Rivian doesn't have a cabin inside the car.
Camera.
Yeah. I'll tell you the three biggest reasons we didn't choose Rivian. Came very close to Rivian. One, there was no camera inside the car. I know that's small. Okay. Two, they don't have the supercharging network that, although they now have accepted going into the Tesla charging network, I'm still a little paranoid that that's not going to be super smooth for another year or two. I don't want to deal with it. Or I have to pull them backwards or forward because the way some of those cables don't quite fit the port. Didn't want to deal with that either. So I'm thinking let's give Rivian another 2 or 3 years to get that figured out. And then the last but most important, we didn't go with Rivian, is full self-driving. I got to tell you, when my Model S, because my Model X is too old to do this. It has a really old autopilot. But my Model S got the latest autopilot, which was the latest version I got before I had to turn it in, was I think 13. And I think they're on what, like 13.5 now or something, but they're much further along than even when I turned that car in. But it was getting really good. Really good. Like, I was very impressed with how good it was. And the amount of times that I had to interfere with the steering wheel had drastically dropped. And so it had gotten way better. So those are the kind of the reasons that we didn't consider a Lucid or didn't consider a Rivian. Those were kind of the two in our final choice.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's so much you can do on the app. I mean,
oh yeah, that's a whole other video. I don't know if you've done one on that yet, but yeah.
No, the app is incredible. I mean, this is your key to the car. One of the things for me and my wife that's a big deal is the profile setting in the car.
Yeah.
So when you're using the app, whoever kind of enters that car first becomes the primary driver. And then everything in the car changes. So your seat changes where it's positioned. I'm much taller than my wife, so it moves my seat back. It'll adjust the climate to the way I wanted it when I left.
Yeah, that's my biggest one. I'm warming up my car right now inside because it's cold here in Utah, and I got a doctor's appointment pretty soon. So, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so you can do all that stuff. But what's kind of cool about it is as soon as I get out of the car and my wife enters the car with her app, then all that changes instantly, right? So it's super awesome. Tesla's been doing that for quite a while, but just super cool. So
so let's hey, I gotta know, man. So what's going on with you and the one you got, and what's the config, and what are you getting? I'm dying here.
Okay, let me jump out of here, and we're gonna go into the configurator more specifically, and I'll completely show you what we ended up ordering. So right now, if you want the launch series, if you click on any of these right here, these are the older Tesla Model Ys. But if you click on this one here, then this one is essentially the new Model Y. So don't click this box. You can see the older styling. But then the moment I click on this box, you see the newer styling. Okay. So now as you go down through the list of options, the one thing is, because this is the launch series, it's fully loaded and none of the options below cost extra money. Okay. Whereas when I go for the older model, if I get like, the Quicksilver paint, this is going to cost me an extra $2,500. Okay. Right now it's included. So we went with the Quicksilver paint.
Oh.
Then, this is a little bland, and I have too many black cars as it is.
Yeah.
I kind of like the white in the new design versus the white in the old design. So I would say this might have been our second favorite color. Not the fact we only have 4 to choose from, but the red is really cool. But one of my really good buddies just got red. I don't know. I didn't want to get red. So anyways, I like the Quicksilver a lot. So we went with Quicksilver.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go for red. I love the red color of my Model 3, but yeah, I can see how you don't want to have a be driving down the street with the same car as your neighbor. So makes sense.
Yeah. And then we got the, although I like the red a lot, don't get me wrong, it's a gorgeous color. It's beautiful. So any of you that choose red, go for it. It's awesome. Then usually they charge you extra for the bigger rims, like the 20-inch rims and all that. So these are included too. Note though, they do bring your range down about 17 miles because it's a bigger and wider tire and everything. Okay. They're throwing in the tow hitch for free. So we chose that, just in case we ever want to get we want to tow something, or we just want to get one of those nice bike racks that kind of fit on the
Yeah.
back. Most people that have electric cars know that if you put it on the back of the car, it's way more efficient for cutting through the wind than if you were to
Yeah.
put it on top of the car. Okay.
Right.
And then we went with the white interior.
You
Um,
did. You're brave. Tell me about
yeah,
that.
it's funny. Like, I wanted to go black. My wife really wanted to go white. This is going to be her car. We had white in the Model S, and the white is really easy to keep clean. I think, given it's
Okay.
a kind of the vegan leather, it's a lot easier to maintain than real leather.
All
So we
right.
went with white. And then the other thing that when I looked at the white and just kind of toggling between the two, there's not a huge amount that's white. Like the
Yeah.
middle console's still black. The top dash, the sides of the doors are still black. So it's just the seats and these side little areas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we went with that. It's full self-driving is included, so you're kind of paying for that.
Mm.
Um, and then I'm not going to buy any of these extra accessories. So essentially that's what we ended up ordering. Those are all the options.
Nice.
They have a few other options that they're making as part of the, I guess, platinum, or not platinum, as part of the launch series. So they have this special badge on the rear of the car. They got some in trim inlines that say launch series on them. There's door sills that say launch series on them, and then they have what they call puddle lights. So when you open the door, it shoots a light down at the cement.
Mm.
So little things like that kind of make it feel a little more special to be a part of the launch series.
Mm.
So those are some of the extra little perks here and there. None of those are a huge value. When I did, so this is more expensive, but when I did all the math, it basically came down to, if you were to build an older version, add autopilot, add all the tow hitch, the white interior, the paint that we wanted to get, all that, we're basically spending about 2 to 3 grand more for the launch series than we would have if we stacked out one of the older versions without all the extra discounts they have right now, because they're trying to get rid of them. So we are paying a
Yeah.
little bit extra, but honestly, I wanted, most people on the channel know we've been waiting for this for a while. And for us, we just wanted to pull the trigger quickly. And then that's going to allow me to make more videos for the channel, which will be very helpful. So I do want to
Yeah.
be kind of one of the first to get one of these, so I can make a lot of videos. So I ordered this a
Well,
couple hours after it launched, essentially.
so I just want to point something
Yeah.
out. So you said 2 or 3 grand more, right? But don't forget, it's not necessarily about those options. You also get a quieter interior, which, to do that on a car, would cost you more than $2,000 or $3,000 if you had somebody like put a bunch of Dynamat and fender shrouds and all that kind of stuff. The suspension is different. New
Yeah.
suspension on a car, that can be pretty expensive as well. The power folding seats. So I mean, it's to me, it makes more sense if you want something with all the options. The new one, it's kind of a no brainer,
Yeah.
honestly. If you want a Model Y for a killer deal, I mean, yeah, the older ones are crazy cheap right now for what they are.
Yeah.
But when you look at what you're getting for what you paid compared to optioning up another one, there's really not really a comparison in my mind.
Right. It just depends on how you want to make your decision. Like, if we would have ordered an older Model Y, we would have loaded it up with everything, because those are the things we want in the car, right? And
Hmm.
we want to choose the color of our car, and we want to get it full self-driving and all those things. I probably would have done the monthly full self-driving, not just spend the entire 8 grand on full self-driving. So that is that there's an amount where they're kind of forcing you for FSD there. But overall, I think we're pretty happy with the decision we made. And really excited. I'm super excited for my wife to drive this. And I think it's going to be, can you imagine going from a 9-year Model X to this? It's going to be a gigantic, difference. So it's pretty exciting for her.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun with the new suspension. I mean, even it's a smaller car, it's going to drive a lot better. It's going to handle better, and then the new suspension's even better than before. And I think she'll have a blast driving this around compared to the older Model X. This will be great. Yeah,
Yeah,
excited for
exactly.
you guys.
Yeah, here's a couple of those launch series things I was telling you. So this unique badge, the door sills, the puddle lights,
Oh
the
yeah,
door sill plates that
yeah,
are
yeah.
special.
Yep.
They put these silver accents in here, special floor mats. I mean, all this is not worth that much, but it makes the car a little more special. Just little things like that can make a difference. And then this will highlight all the new features in the car and everything. But it just, I don't know, just to us looks great. Looks pretty amazing. So pretty happy with it.
Awesome. Well, that's great, man. That's so cool. I'm excited for you guys. I didn't know you actually pulled the trigger on getting
Yeah.
one. So yeah, I can't wait till you get it, and I'm sure there'll be some cool videos coming up from us on this as well. So that's cool.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah, we'll do a whole bunch of videos and road trips. I mean, we already have road trips planned in the spring, so I really hope this does get delivered in March because it's going to work really well for us. So we'll have to see, but yeah, hopefully this was a good video for y'all. If you have any questions at all, please write comments down below. Like, subscribe to the channel. Really looking forward to getting some of these videos out, and Sky and I will do a couple more videos on this and highlight some key things for you guys. And obviously, I'll do many more videos once we get it, but I'll walk you through the entire process of it. Right now, you only have to put a $250 deposit. It's non-refundable deposit down to get in the queue. That's why I ordered it really quick. I wanted to be in the queue like right away. I don't know if any of you have heard, but when they did launch this last week in China, they got over 100,000 reservations in 5 days. So I wanted to get in right away. Luckily, we live really close to the Fremont factory. We're like 30 minutes from the Fremont factory. So I'm hoping we'll get this one of the first few in North America. I'm hoping we'll get it. So we'll see, but I'll do videos all about that and the delivery process, and then all the great fun features on the car. So hopefully it'll be pretty rewarding for y'all to see. So
Awesome.
cool. Well, thanks again, everyone, and look forward to. I'll read the comments and we'll definitely answer them. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Take care.